You're watching News 3 Now, live at 4, moving forward.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this Friday edition of Live at 4.
And today, people in Mayville are dealing with the aftermath of the storm. Video here behind us showing a funnel cloud forming there last night. Now, we have team coverage of storm damage. Brady Mallory is in Mayville, Maddie Heimsch in Juneau, and Chief Meteorologist Alex Harrington providing a breakdown of the storms. But first, he is tracking some storms in our viewing area now. Alex?
Yes, and if we could take Max 2, let's have Max 2 to show us what's going on. We'll show the video again in a little while here in Mayville, but if we can put Max 2 up behind me. Right now, severe thunderstorm warning for Dane County for at least another few minutes for radar indicated winds upwards of 60 miles per hour. That puts communities of Lodi eventually getting off into Columbia County, the town of Dane at 4:13, then Lodi at 4:14 as the storm rapidly moves to the north and towards the east. Haven't had any confirmation of damage as this storm formed in Iowa County, but we'll keep an eye on it. All attention, of course, Dodge County right now, an area of showers, a couple claps of thunder stretching from Juneau up to the Horicon, up to the Mayville area. I know there's cleanup efforts going on as we speak right now, and a few showers and isolated thunderstorms in your area. We expect those showers and thunderstorms around the Madison area to move to the north and towards the east, towards Dodge County as we head towards 4:30, going on towards 5 o'clock, and then out of the entire WISC viewing area around 6 o'clock. Again, an isolated severe storm or two with winds to 60 miles per hour, not out of the question this evening. Flashback yesterday, 24 hours, the sheer number of severe thunderstorm warnings and tornado warnings. Nearly every storm was tornado warned or severe warned. Unfortunately, it all verified last night. And we have that impressive video from Mayville showing what is a wall cloud, and then we have that circulation. If we could pull that video up here in the screen, I can go through what that video is actually showing. Otherwise, if not, then we can do that during main weather here right behind me, and you can zoom in on me here. We've got the circulating wall cloud right here, and as you watch very, very closely here, in my opinion, we have a tornado that drops down to the ground here, and then it actually splits into two circulations here in just a moment. And I'll take a peek at it. There it splits into two circulations. You might be able to see that, and even a third circulation there. These are three vortices, vortices that are circulating around a single vortex, and what also looks like debris here being lofted up from the ground from those three vortices forming into one vortex. We call that a multi-vortex tornado when you have multiple vortices that are circulating around a central rotation. So impressive video out of Mayville, and we will be getting the National Weather Service Storm Spotter survey, or excuse me, the surveys from the National Weather Service on any potential ratings for these very likely tornadoes that affected the Juneau up to the Horicon and the Mayville area. Coming up in main weather, we will use Future Track, and we will use Radar 3000 again to give folks the latest on the storms in the area.
All right, thank you, Alex. And let's head out now to Brady Mallory.
Yep, Sarah is filling in because Brady is live this afternoon in Mayville, which, as Alex was just saying, was hit very hard last night. Hi, Brady. What have you seen out there this afternoon?
Yeah, well, speaking of weather, some gloomy looking clouds are rolling in. We've had some raindrops, and here's hoping the people of Mayville can catch a break today after what they went through last night. As for today, you drive around, today is not a day where people are worried about their lawns. You'll see a lot of tree branches, limbs, and boulevards. They do not tell the full story, though. If you want to see that, I'm over in an industrial park where the storm ripped off that wall of Mayville Engineering Company, and then there's another nearby building. I'll talk about that in a bit, but you know, everyone looks forward to Friday being the last day of the work week. This is the first day of cleanup for people here. So this storm damaged, like I said, the Mayville Engineering Company, and then just right across the way we have the Gleason Reel Manufacturing Company. The mayor tells me that both are some pretty big employers here in town. Thankfully, no one was hurt. There is one minor injury, and hopefully that person is doing well. That person is expected to recover, but still, it's going to be a big job. But Mayor Robb says that no one is alone.
Well, I think that we're coming together as a community, and there's a lot of volunteerism, and a lot of residents have been helping out one another.
Well, Governor Tony Evers is around. He was here looking at the damage earlier, and Mayor Rob Belk tells me that they are working with the governor's office and they have the support that they need to get through this. But there's some other type of support I'll talk about. The Red Cross is also around here. And, you know, following last night's storms, the American Red Cross of Wisconsin is offering shelter at Mayville Junior and Senior High School. That's over on North Clark Street. They're offering food, water, a place to charge your phones. That's important, of course, and other support. The Red Cross is also sending out an emergency response vehicle to distribute meals, snacks, water, blankets, trash bags, and more to the people who are affected. So if you need help, call 1-800-RED-CROSS and they'll get you situated. And once again, I'm finding that no one is letting their neighbors do this alone. At 5 o'clock, I'll show you the impact here and how people are helping out. But of course, Mayville was not the only community affected by yesterday's storms. Let's go out to Maddie Heim. She's over in Juneau looking at the damage over there. What are you seeing, Maddie?
Brady, talk about catching a break in Dodge County. We're standing here ready to report on the damage from yesterday's storms when a bunch of hail just came. I was getting flicked in the head by hail probably 2 minutes ago. It's really on and off, coming and going. But like you said, cleanup efforts are definitely underway here in Juneau. We spent the early afternoon moving through a couple of neighborhoods, and the scene in every neighborhood pretty much the same. Sidewalks just lined with trees, debris, branches, waiting for crews to come pick those up. And again, like you were saying, no one's really doing it alone. There were neighbors out everywhere helping in each other's lawns. And one neighbor spoke to me about what happened last night.
Crack, and the bolt hit right in the middle of the tree and cracked it all down. It's like, oh, like crap, took all the trees down here, everywhere. It's a mess. But we had friends and family come and help us clean up. We're all cleaned up now, so.
Like Barb was saying there, for a lot of neighbors, trees coming down was really the extent of their damage. But for some in Juneau that were really in the more direct line of the storm, we saw shingles off, play sets flipped over, windows shattered, and even at this family farm that we're at right now, a silo pushed over, crunched, essentially like a soda can. There's power lines down, some really, really significant damage. In our next half hour at 4:30, I sit down with the owners of this family farm as they talk about what they're gonna do next, the conversations they're gonna have as a family as these cleanup efforts continue to go on. For now, reporting live in Juneau, I'm Maddie Heimsch, News 3 Now.
Okay, thank you, Maddie. Great to see everybody helping each other out. You can also stay on top of the weather with the First Warn Weather app. It has hourly planners, road conditions, and radar. You can download this for free in your phone's app store. Just search WISC Weather.
In other news this afternoon, a teenager is fighting for his life after a shooting in Beloit. Beloit police say at 11 o'clock Wednesday night, a 15-year-old fired at a 17-year-old on Park Avenue. Police have not arrested anyone and are calling the shooting accidental. Police are still investigating what happened as the 17-year-old remains in the hospital. 2 law enforcement officers will not face criminal charges for their roles in a chase that ended in a deadly crash. On March 2nd, police received calls of a car heading north on Highway 151 at around 140 miles per hour. An Iowa County deputy spotted the vehicle and began chasing it. Shortly after, a state patrol trooper joined in. The chase crossed into Dane County when officers put out spike strips. The driver was trying to avoid those when the car rolled, ending on its roof. That driver, 28-year-old Bo Johnson, was thrown from the car and died later at the scene. Well, this weekend, politicians from across Wisconsin will meet in Wausau for the annual State Republican Party convention. Political reporter Will Keneally will be traveling up there tomorrow. He joins us with a preview of what to expect now.
That's right. This is one of those unique opportunities for political reporters like me, where we get all of the Republican politicians in a room together and we get to ask them about what's going on both here in the state and in national politics. Now, this may be a rebuilding year for Republicans after the conservative state Supreme Court candidate lost in April. Now, ahead of the convention this weekend, we spoke with the state party chair, Brian Schimming, about the future of the party.
Yeah, it's interesting because the off year, you kind of take stock of what's happened. We had a great win with President Trump in Wisconsin in the fall, only the second time in 40 years. Disappointing Supreme Court race, but you kind of restock.
Now, a lot of attention right now is looking ahead to the gubernatorial elections next fall and whether Democrats can retain the governor's mansion. Now, that has been a stopgap for many of the Republican policies coming out of the state legislature. Now, you can see more from our interview with Shimming this Sunday at 10:30 as we take For the Record on location to the Republican convention in Wausau.
We will see you Sunday morning, Will. Thank you. Next on Live at 4, a beloved tradition returns to Stoughton.
Our Tanisha Shaw is live previewing Set and Demai when we come back.
All right, folks, we have a severe weather update that impacts some of the areas that have been highly impacted by yesterday's severe weather. We have a severe thunderstorm warning now for the north and northeast part of Dodge County. This is radar indicated winds to 60 miles per hour till 4:45 p.m. And I'm going to actually look right into this storm. I think with my analysis, even just looking at the reds and the greens here, that the likelihood of strong winds is probably going to be north of the Mayville area. This is a little bit far north on the radar. I'm seeing winds of approximately 40 miles per hour to maybe 50 miles per hour in the area of where the reflectivity, the oranges and the reds were the most prevalent. But zooming in closer to the Mayville area, you are in this severe thunderstorm warning until 4:45 p.m. And our wind tracker tool here in the Mayville area is showing winds potentially in upwards of 40 miles per hour. So these are not severe level criteria winds at this point in time, but that doesn't mean that the storm can't bring stronger winds, sometimes aloft, higher up in the sky, down to the ground. We'll be keeping a close eye on that cell. We have another cell that has a history of being severe warned, no confirmation on damage at this point in time, but this is for Columbia County, also radar indicated winds to 60 miles per hour. We're not at this point in time expecting tornadoes or very large hail events this evening, or even very, very high wind events this evening, but 60 mile per hour winds, 1-inch diameter hail is very likely the threats that we will see with these few scattered thunderstorms throughout the evening. I'll quick put a track on this cell here in Columbia County. They're moving very fast, moving at about 50 to 60 miles per hour. It's going to bring it certainly into Poynette and some of our other communities, Lowville as we head towards 422, the Wyocena area as we head towards 429, and then Partyville at 4:30 p.m. as we progress further into our newscast. Zooming on out here, I just want to call out that the best chance for any thunderstorms are going to be along I-39 and areas off towards the east, and that's where we see this concentration of scattered thunderstorms that are severe storm warned in some cases. Future track, that's lining up perfectly right along I-39 as we head closer towards 430, moving again more towards the east. 5 o'clock getting out of the WISC viewing area for the most part, and then out towards Lake Michigan as we head towards 6:30 in the evening. Again, primary threats are going to be winds perhaps upwards of 60 miles per hour, hail to 1 inch in diameter. Not expecting tornadoes this evening, but we most certainly will be vigilant and keep a close eye on radar. So to repeat, we do have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for the north and northeast part of Dodge County, although my radar analysis, I think much of this cell is now, we have another radar update, has moved to the north and east of the Mayville area, and we have another severe thunderstorm warning for the center part of Columbia County with that cell already now right over the Poynette area. As we continue to break in throughout the newscast, we'll keep everybody up to date on these isolated severe storms.
All right, Alex, we appreciate it. Well, this Feel Good Friday, we're highlighting a beloved annual event in Stoughton.
That's right. News 3 Now is a proud sponsor of this year's Set and Demai Festival. Our Tanisha Shaw is there live now. Tanisha?
Hi, Susan and Sarah. I am here at Set and Demai here in Stoughton. It just started raining down really, really hard. We're going to take a little walk over here because it's raining down really bad right now, but that does not stop this festival. It will go on whether it's dry or whether it's wet like it is right now. I'm here with Audra Dolson right now from One Community Bank. You're one of the many people that helped put this event together, and you're a very large part. First of all, tell me about this festival that's pouring down right now.
Set Demai is actually the second largest Norwegian Independence Day festival that is celebrated. Set Demai is actually the 17th of May, and it's the independence for Norway. And the bank is super excited to be the major sponsor for the event. I love being able to help not only supporting our supporting our colleagues, serving our clients and investing in our communities. And this is the one way that one community really allows us to invest in our communities and serve the businesses and people of Stoughton.
And then right now, even though it's raining, Gabe, we can give them a look at all this rain over here. It's still people outside. I find that amazing. Some of them are like under the tents and everything, but people are still celebrating Norwegian culture. Audra, I also want to ask you, it's a way today for people to support the community and put more money back into the community with chamber bucks. Tell me more about that.
Yes, so One Community Bank is excited to be a partner for our chamber bucks. So what happens is you pay $20 and actually you get $40 in a chamber buck gift certificate that can be used for our local businesses. So that is one way that we're excited to be able to give back. And those are being sold currently until they are sold out, or 6 p.m. today at the One Community Bank tent downtown.
Absolutely. And Audra, I asked you this a few minutes ago, so I'm put you on the spot. What is your favorite part about this festival? I know you said you've been coming here for years and it's such a beautiful celebration.
There are so many things that I love about it. I love being able to support our nonprofit organizations within the community with all the food stands. We have amazing events. We get to really kick off festival season in Stoughton here with the canoe race, which happens tonight. Weather should be cleared up by then. And then the run walk tomorrow up at the high school, starting at Collins Field or Anderson Complex. And then also we have the strongman competition. So those are some of the different things that are going on. You get to see the Norwegian dancers perform. Their last performance is on a Friday afternoon after the parade. And then also you'll see One Community Bank as one of the major sponsors for the parade on Sunday as well.
Absolutely, Audra. Thank you so much for coming out here in the rain with me to celebrate Norwegian culture. Again, News 3 Now is a sponsor, and there's so much more going on today. I will be here in the rain showing you what's going on in Stoughton. For 7 Mai, Susan, Sarah, I'm going to send it back to you.
Great pivot there, Tanisha.
Exactly.
It's going to be a great weekend. Have fun out there. Thank you so much, and we'll be right back.
We had no...
Well, for the past few weeks, we have been focusing on the state budget process and following it, but that's not all that's happening in the state legislature.
Besides the 16 legislators involved in the budget committee, there are 116 others representing you and working on other legislation. And this session, they're considering hundreds of bills. So joining us now to talk about how these bills get put together and eventually potentially become law, we have political analyst Brandon Schultz. So let's just start, Brandon, with how bills are made.
Hello, welcome back. Good to see you.
Nice to talk about something besides the budget, but we'll get to that too. So yeah, that's a great line. How a bill becomes a law. I mean, and everybody just thinks, well, we hear about these votes, we hear about these bills, so it just happens, right?
Right.
It is a long, long process, and it really starts with an idea. It really starts with somebody saying, gee, I wonder if, remember that old cartoon, you know, how a bill, we need a bill for this?
Bill to Capitol Hill, remember that?
Yeah. So it could be an idea from a person, from an organization, from a convenience store, from a doctor, from a carpenter, you name it, from any organization, and somebody has an idea that says, I think we could make something better, or I think we could stop something from being so bad. And they go to a legislator, and they sit down, they talk about it, and they try and work through, is this good, how is this going to work, who supports it, who might be opposed. And if they get to that point, then the legislator will say, fine, let's go get a bill drafted. So they send it out, and somebody writes the official language, and it comes back, and then the legislator goes about looking for support in either the Assembly or the Senate to get what they call co-sponsors, so it shows support. Then they also generate support from the organizations and the people outside of the Capitol to show that it has momentum, that has a lot of different support. So that's where it all starts.
And this is all before it ends up on the floor.
Oh, way before. We haven't even got, we probably don't even have a piece of paper until that point. But that is about the point where you get all that support, and then you get a bill number. And once you get a bill number, then you're ready to rock and roll. This is when, you get a bill and you get into the process. So the first process that we'll see on the chart that we put up is going to a committee. Now, each house, the Assembly and the Senate, have committees that have jurisdictions over every issue you could think about, whether it's agriculture, healthcare, insurance, broadcast, you name it. Everybody has jurisdiction over these issues. And so they assign that bill to that committee. And the first thing they do is they have a public hearing. And in a public hearing, Anybody can come testify, whether you're opposed, whether you're a citizen, whether you have it, in the game of something that's going to happen to that bill, whether you're impacted by it. Anybody can come and testify for and against, and it's wide open to the public. I mean, we've seen hearings that have gone on for hours and hours because people have traveled from all across the state. So once they get to that point, then the committee takes a little bit of a break. They usually come back in a week or two and have what's called an executive session. That's when legislators sit down and say, well, I like this bill, but I want to do this. So they might try an amendment, or I don't think we should do this, or I'm 100% for it, or I'm 100% against it. And legislators will have that discussion, and it's usually just legislators. Sometimes they'll call in somebody.
So what are some of the key bills this session, though, that could actually make it to the governor's desk? A lot of people are asking.
I'm going to get to some of those because you got to get through, for all, right now we have about 300 bills in the Assembly and 300 more in the Senate, and there's going to be another 1,000 or more that'll come. You got to get through this first hearing, and you got to get through the exec, because in the exec, that's when they vote yes or no on this bill. If they vote no, it's done. You're over. You can try it again, but for now, you're done. But if they vote yes, that's when the next part of the process starts. And then it gets scheduled for a vote on the floor of the Assembly or the Senate. Now, this is where it gets a little complicated because you have two houses, right? And so if you have an Assembly bill and a Senate bill, both bills go through the same process in their own houses, from committee hearings all the way up until they get to schedule for the floor. And then they get scheduled for a vote on the floor, and if the Assembly passes the bill, the Senate can vote to pass the Assembly bill or vice versa. But if either house changes any words in their bill, so the Assembly has a bill they passed, and the Senate has a bill that they amended and changed, and the two don't match, it's not going anywhere until one house or the other changes their bill to match up, or they drop their bill and they adopt the other house's bill.
Wow.
Because when the governor gets the bill, and that's the next step after the legislature passes the bill, when the governor gets the bill, it has to be from both houses. It has to be the same. And that's when the governor goes into either signing the bill and it becomes a law, or the governor says, no, I just don't care for this, and he vetoes it and goes back to the legislature. Now, the legislature can override.
Okay. We need so much more time to talk about this, Professor.
Yeah.
But very quickly,
Yeah.
This explains why it's taking so long.
Right.
And we're going to continue to follow it with your help. That was actually very, very interesting.
Yeah, we do. And the budget will take the same course. They have to pass the exact same thing, send it to the governor, and then they have a chance to override it. So when you ask why does this take a long time,
That's
it's
why.
a very long process.
Thank you,
Thank
Brandon.
you.
Well done.
You bet.
And we'll be right back.
You're watching News 3 Now, live at 4.
It's 4:31 on this Friday afternoon. Thanks for sticking with us on Live at 4.
And we are continuing our team coverage of storms yesterday and some showers today. We have Maddie Heimsch in Juneau, Brady Mallory in Mayville, and Alex Harrington right here in the studio tracking the current forecast. Let's start there. Alex, what can you see?
First and foremost, want to let the northern and northeast part of Dodge County know that that severe thunderstorm warning that had been prompted for 60-mile-per-hour winds north and west of the Mayville area has since weakened considerably and has been allowed to expire in areas near Juneau up to Horicon, over to the Mayville area that have been impacted so greatly yesterday. There are a few showers, maybe an isolated thunderstorm to the south and east, but right now I think things are going to be dry for a little while. But there are a couple more storms out to the west over Columbia County that were also severe storm warned, and just in these past few moments that warning has since been dropped. And I know we have Tanisha Shaw down near the Stoughton area for Seton Demai. There is another cell near the Rutland area that is going to be moving off towards the north and towards the east. This very likely is going to be moving into the Stoughton area here probably within the next 5 to 10 minutes. So Tanisha and friends in Stoughton, you can let them know there is a very personalized forecast for you that a thunderstorm is on the way here in the course of the next couple of minutes. Scattered showers and thunderstorms really eyeing up the I-39 corridor and areas off towards the east. That's where we have the most concentrated area of showers and a few thunderstorms that have briefly had severe thunderstorm warnings warnings, not getting many or any really reports in of any damage, and gusty winds would be the main threat with these thunderstorms as they press off to the north and towards the east. With future track, as we move further towards 5 o'clock, they continue to push out of the WISC viewing area, and by 7 o'clock, they're out over Lake Michigan. So just this narrow window of opportunity for a couple additional showers and thunderstorms. Primary threats, if any of these storms do pop up or percolate to severe levels, that would be gusty winds of 60 miles per hour, perhaps hail to 1 inch in diameter. Lows tonight around 50 with that scattered shower chance. And coming up in Maine weather, I'll let you know how cool Saturday and Sunday will be and if we have additional rain in the forecast. That's in a few minutes.
Sounds good. Thank you, Alex. And now let's turn it over to Brady Mallory, our anchor in the field today.
Brady is in Mayville this afternoon. Folks there had a difficult night and a long day today, Brady. What kind of damage are you seeing there?
Yeah, it has been a long day for a lot of people. We got a break in the clouds, which is good because I think the people of Mayville deserve a break. They have a busy stretch ahead of them with cleanup. There is significant damage here. The mayor did declare a state of emergency, so I want to show you one of those here in the industrial park. We have Gleason Reel, and you can see the storm took out much of that wall, and the roof is missing. The mayor said about 75% of the building is damaged, so mostly damaged there. And then right behind me, we have the Mayville Engineering Company. You can see that the tornado took out the wall there. Oddly enough, as we've seen in other storms, a lot of the stuff inside is untouched, but that wall just went right out of there. Let's go over toward the residential areas. There I talked with a man named Lloyd Breslow. He is busy picking up some tree limbs out of his yard. Some neighbors, some friends are helping him do that. But he knows that he did not get the worst of it. Let's take a listen.
That followed straight through and the other end of town. They really got clevered.
Well, Governor Tony Evers has been here checking out the damage. The mayor says that the governor said that they have the full support of state funds for the cleanup efforts here. And once again, significant damage here in Mayville. But coming up tonight at 5, we'll visit with Lloyd and he'll tell us why he still considers himself to be the luckiest man here. We'll also talk with his friends who said they didn't have any damage, but they have a chainsaw and they're out here to help. And if you do need some help out here following last night's storms, the American Red Cross of Wisconsin is offering shelter at the Mayville Junior and Senior High School on North Clark Street. They're offering food, water, a place to stay if you need it, and also a place to charge your cell phones, other support too. The Red Cross is sending out an emergency response vehicle to distribute meals, snacks, water, blankets, trash bags, and more. So if you need help, you can call 1-800-RED-CROSS. That's 1-800-RED-CROSS. And of course, Mayville wasn't the only community impacted by these storms. Let's go over to Juneau where we find Maddie Heimsch to tell us what she's seeing. Maddie?
I'm standing in front of the Schwantz family farm in Juneau where it's essentially been leveled, the buildings in it. The big piece of damage that we're seeing is this silo that was tipped over and crushed like a can. We also have power lines down. A lot of the buildings, all there is the wooden framework left and debris just scattered everywhere. But most importantly, the Schwantz tell me, is they're missing cows that scattered during the storm. Here's what Bob Schwantz Sr. had to say about those cows that he calls family.
It's hard to say if they're going to come back because I mean, we would like to have them all in one facility so we can monitor them and treat them, as we have treated them all these years, because they're special friends of ours that we live for and they live for us.
Bob is trying to retrieve some of those cows as the cleanup efforts around town continue, but luckily no human family members were injured in yesterday's storm. And I asked the family members about next steps for their farm as so many of the buildings are just completely leveled. Find out what they had to say on News 3 Now at 5. For now, reporting live in Juneau, I'm Maddie Heimsch, News 3 Now.
Oh, shocking to see that silo. I hope the cows come back. Maddie, thank you so much. You can stay on top of the weather With the First Warn weather app, it has hourly planners, road conditions, and the radar. You can download it for free in your phone's app store. Just search WISC weather.
And coming up on Live at 4, Alex breaks down video of a funnel cloud spotted over Mayville during yesterday's storms.
And later, we're introducing you to the newest addition to News 3 Now's staff. We'll be right back. Boy, take a look at this frightening video that was taken yesterday in Mayfield.
It's unbelievable. It shows a funnel cloud forming during Thursday evening storms. Thanks to YouTuber Carbine for letting us use the video. Alex, tell us what's happening here.
Yeah, what you're seeing is the wall cloud. And then now you actually have a full vortex all the way to the ground. Watch, it splits into two there. Can you see that? And then it splits into three. These are three different vortices circulating, and now it's just one vortex. There you see debris being lofted from the ground. Maybe even some power flashes in there. So what you're looking at here, in my opinion, is that funnel cloud then transitioning into a multi-vortex tornado. That's what that's called. We have multiple vortices swirling around one central vortex. Let's see that play out here again. Here is that one central vortex, and then it splits into two. Just a moment there. There it splits into two, and then it splits into a third vortex here as it all is circulating around one area of central circulation, and then you get that debris right there that's lofting up from the ground here. So very likely a tornado that had touched down on the ground, but we will rely on our National Weather Service colleagues to give us that confirmation as they are conducting surveys as we speak. I want to start off in the Juneau and the Horicon and Mayville area. The shower and thunderstorm activity is all around you, but not over your area right now. But be on guard. There are additional showers and thunderstorms in the area, and that chance is there for at least another couple hours. Up towards Marquette and Green Lake counties, Montello, Princeton, over towards Kingston, we have a couple of scattered showers and thunderstorms. These were originally severe warned storms, but no severe warnings, at least not right now in the WISC viewing area, but that could change. Gusty winds would be the main threat. Seton, Demise, Stoughton, that shower, thunderstorm now just west of you on Highway 51 up towards the 39 interstate. If you have any travel on the interstate, any of these storms are going to be producing heavy rainfall. Most of the concentration of showers and thunderstorms have been along I-39 in areas to the east, although one other lone thunderstorm right now forming in Iowa County. And we'll keep an eye on these storms again. Some of them are briefly severe, but they are out of here by the time we get between 5 and 7 o'clock. They move very rapidly to the east, and they're out of the WISC viewing area, making for a cloudy evening and a breezy evening. Any severe weather threats this evening, gusty winds to 60 miles per hour is the primary threat. Hail would be on the lower end of the spectrum, and we are not expecting tornadoes this evening. 50 for a low temperature tonight with a slight chance of a shower overnight. Highs in the upper 50s to lower 60s, so big temperature change as we go on into Saturday. Seton, Demise, we already saw Tenacious Shaw and others dodging that shower. There is that shower chance this evening. 63 on Saturday, 66 on Sunday. I think Sunday is the best of all 3 days with light winds and sunny conditions. After Seton, Demise activities end, then we turn our attention to a weather system Tuesday and Wednesday. You may be doing a double take on the highs there. We're going to be on the cool side of that weather system on Tuesday, highs of 53 and then 58, and then climbing our way back to normal temperatures, quiet conditions, pleasant weather as we head towards the following weekend. Live at 4 is back in just a few minutes. Stay in touch with us. We'll be right back.
Welcome back, everyone. Well, even though the school year is over, there's always a lot going on the UW-Madison campus.
That's for sure. And that is what the Badger Beat is all about. It's news and stories about Badgers from Badgers. And for the next 6 months, Kayla Dembeck will be taking over the Badger Beat for us. Welcome to Live at 4. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
You are a proud Badger. You're a rising junior, going to be a junior next year. Tell us a little bit about the Badger Beat for people who aren't familiar with it.
Yeah, so the Badger Beat is meant to make news really accessible for students and alumni. It takes events happening around Madison and really breaks it down makes it really easy to digest, things that students would understand and things that students and alumni would really care about.
Yeah. And so we haven't seen you here on our newscasts. Where this is TikTok and Insta?
Yes,
okay.
Yes, so it's for social media. TikTok, Instagram, and then after all those stories are published, there's little stories on the website that will go a little bit more in depth.
You just published a really interesting story yesterday that everyone should go and check out. Tell us about it.
Yes, so it was all about the water quality of Lake Mendota because it's that time of year. People are starting to swim in it. So I talked to 2 workers at the UW Center for Limnology, which is the study of lakes, who talked a little bit about what the water quality is like, what some of the potential risks are, when you should and shouldn't swim. So that's really interesting, and that is up on both the Instagram and the TikTok.
Great. And so you're also a journalism student, which is awesome.
Yes.
What is the Instagram page so people can go check it out when we're done?
It is Badger_beat. And it's the same on Instagram and TikTok.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. And how often are you turning a story?
About once a week. Sometimes if a lot's happening, might be twice a week, but right now once a week, and then also one story on the website per week.
The campus is so important to, I mean, I've got 2 Badgers here. I'm not one, but I wish I was. I live vicariously through my son. But there's so much going on campus that even at this time of the year, there are big stories to tell.
Oh, yes.
And are you looking for ideas for stories, I suppose? We were going to ask about that. You probably would take anything you can get.
Yes, so it is a little bit quieter now that students have left, but there still is so much happening in the Madison community because UW-Madison is right in the center of a beautiful city. So what happens in the city ultimately does affect the students. So I did a really interesting piece on graduation focusing on first-generation students. And then, like I said, my last piece was about the water quality of Lake Mendota. I'm looking to do 2 more sort of feature stories on pieces of Madison that students really care about. But if anybody who's listening has any ideas about what I should cover, you can either email badgerbeat@WISC-TV.com or send the Badger Beat a DM on Instagram or TikTok.
Badger_beat.
Yes.
All right.
And definitely check these out. They're really fun and well done.
Kayla, welcome aboard. It's great to have you.
So excited.
It's good to have you here.
Thank you.
Congrats. And coming up on Live at 4, it's time for Set into My again.
Our Josh Spreiter shows us a very special performance when Live at 4 returns.
As a proud sponsor of Set into My, the News 3 Now team, the morning crew was actually out early for a special performance.
Well done.
Hey,
here's our Josh Spreiter.
We are at Stoughton High School getting a sneak peek at the Set into My performance by the Stoughton High School Norwegian dancers. They've got a performance for us right here on Live at 4. Guys, cue the music. And you can check out the Stoughton Norwegian High School dancers right now this weekend for Set into My. News 3 Now is a proud sponsor. In Stoughton, I'm Josh Spreiter, News 3 Now.
Here's what's coming up on Monday on Live at 4. Will Loper will have this weekend's box office review, and straight ahead tonight at 5, we'll tell you how Americans are currently feeling about the economy. Thanks for joining us on this Friday afternoon, everybody. Hope to see you right back here for Live at 4 on Monday. News 3 Now at 5 starts right now.